Okay, hi everybody. I've done a video of this guy before, but I did him with another figure, with the other alien that I've got. I've had a few people ask to see this guy on his own, so that's why I'm doing this video. So a few people requested it. This is the Predalien from the movie AVP Requiem. This is probably the biggest figure I've got in my collection, and I would say it's probably one of the tallest figures that Hot Toys have done. Maybe the Power Loader with Ellen Ripley or Ironmonger might be very close to the size of this thing, with Ed 209 from Robocop as well, but he's quite tall. He stands over 18 inches tall when you extend his legs. So what I'll do is I'll give you a head to toe look and then give you a few little details about him. Okay, paint app wise, really good paint apps on this figure. Different shades of brown. There's a little bit of red put in there on the muscle. Difficult to say whether this is movie accurate because the film was very dark, so you didn't really get to see this guy in the light. So accuracy wise, not sure, but it looks pretty damn good to me. Articulation wise, with my figure I've found that his legs and arms are very loose. If I was to pick him up now, his legs would probably drop down a little bit, so they are very loose. Don't know whether that's just my figure. I've had him quite a long time, so I'm assuming over time this thing will happen to most of Hot Toys figures. The joints will become very, how can I put it, very loose. The arms in the joints here, pretty good. They're quite stiff, so I've got no problem there. And the shoulder joints aren't too bad, but the main problem I have is with the hips here. The knees are pretty strong, but around the ankles they're quite loose as well. Problem Hot Toys had with a lot of the alien figures that they did was the feet tended to fall off. Not so much of a problem on this figure, but it is on my other alien figure. Head wise, really superb detail on the head. Something you have to be very careful of though with this figure is the membranes here, the rubber membranes on the jaws. Very, very fragile. Do not pull the mouth open, the jaws open too much, because it will rip. I haven't, as you can see just over here in the corner, there's a slight little tear there. So when I've done this video I'm going to close his jaws back up to prevent that from ripping. But that is a problem with these rubberized bodies. He's not completely rubberized. It's only mainly the shoulder points is quite a thick rubber, so that's not too much of a problem. I would say this is all rubber. The joints around the mouth, they're very soft rubber as well, so they could rip. The chest is also rubber, but it's quite a thick rubber, so you shouldn't really have a problem with that. Same too with his stomach and round by his groin as well. That's quite a thick rubber. The legs and the arms are solid plastic, so the only problem you could get with that is paint chipping, so do be careful. The tail, there is a wire that goes all the way through the tail, so you can pose the tail. It's best if you've got this figure, because he doesn't come with a stand, to use the tail to hold him up. But if you want to have the tail sort of up in the air, maybe coming up over his shoulder, it might be a bit of a task to do that, but you probably could get a pretty good have a pretty good try at doing that. If you wanted to do that, then I suggest buy a little stand to maybe clip around his legs or around his waist just to hold him up. These, I believe this is his way of breathing. These are already on the figure. The only thing you have to put on this figure is whatever hands you want. This right leg and the right arm have to be put on. But say these are solid plastic as well. What does he come with? Well, nothing basically. All he comes with is an extra pair of hands, and these you can articulate. They're made of rubber, so you can bend them to however you want. Again, nice paint apps, but I've stuck with the solid hands. These are already moulded in this shape. I think they just look more dynamic than having these ones. All I've added to this figure is a little chest burster that you can buy in packs on eBay. Not very good detail, but I've added into this figure. It would be really nice if Hot Toys had given you maybe some sort of stand, or even the chest burster that spawned this figure. So be like the stuff from the film. So you've got the chest burster body and the head with the little mandibles on the side. It would have been nice if they'd added that to this figure, or even a face hugger, but never mind. Stand alone, he is great. So I'll just bit of detail on the head now. Dreadlocks are rubber. They hang down really nice. Stand up here. The dome, you can see through the dome, so you can see the skull underneath. It's quite a big head, reminiscent of the Alien Queen. I wish Hot Toys would bring one of them out. That's what everybody's asking for. Show you around this side. For the mandibles, you can move them in and out. They're on a little ball joint. Again, be careful. He does have an inner jaw around the back here. I can't really see it because of the light, but just underneath here you can just about see it. That's a little switch. Push that forward and his inner jaw will come out. I'd advise against doing this because it pulls the mouth down and puts a lot of strain on these little rubber joints here. So all in all, superb figure. Highly recommend it. Again, if you can get one, try and stay away from getting a used version. I know you're going to pay a lot more for one that's brand new and never been taken out of the box, but for used versions, say the joints are going to be very loose, and you could get some figure that's got some ripping on the rubber and some paint chipping. Mine, I've got no real problems with mine really. Paint chipping wise, there's no paint chips. So just apart from that very, very small little tear just starting to come there, mine hasn't got any tears, thankfully. So please be aware when buying this figure. If you're getting it off eBay, ask loads and loads of questions about these little things. And if the seller is unsure, don't buy it. So there you go, there's a Predalien. Sorry it couldn't be a more sort of detailed view of the figure. It's very difficult to spin this guy around, but you can get some really good dramatic poses out of him if you're very artistic. I quite like this pose. Looks good up against other Predators and other alien figures. I do have one other alien figure, and that is the Alien Warrior, the brown version from AVP, which I might do a video on next. I'm planning on getting the dog alien. I did have him once before and sold him, so I'm planning on getting him again, and the black version of the alien warrior from AVP is another one I'm after, but they're very expensive, so I might have to sell a few figures before I get him. So as always, thanks for watching. Hope this has been a little bit informative for you. Until the next video, catch you guys later.